Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Gulseth. We are talking with LCMS U chapters today. We got to talk to Pastor Andre out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in our first segment about the really wide-ranging ways that First Trinity in Pittsburgh is able to reach out to all of the different campuses and students there in Pittsburgh. And now we get to come back here to St. Louis, to my home church, which is pretty cool, and my deaconess, which is also pretty cool. Joining me in studio today, Deaconess Laura Justice from Village Lutheran Church in Ladue, Missouri. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I know. It's exciting to finally have you on
I know.
to talk about something.
Thanks.
So you're, tell us actually first, just a elevator speech about your role as a deaconess in the church. I know that's probably more than 30 seconds, but.
Right. Well, to sum it up, I work in a congregation. Many deaconesses work in institutions or as missionaries, but I'm focused right here at Village Lutheran Church. And I do have several ministries that I'm involved with. One of them is the campus ministry that I get to talk about today. I also work with family education, and so I work with little ones and their families, kind of preparing them for catechism and that type of thing. I also work with our women's ministry through Katie Luther League. And I guess last is working with our homebound. We have lots of folks that are at home that I go and visit them and take the love of Jesus to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So the LCMS U chapter that runs out of Village, and it serves Washington University.
That's correct.
Tell me a little bit about Wash U in
Wash
St. Louis.
U. All right. Well, it's a large university, well, semi-large university. They have about 15,000 students, both undergrad and grad. Students come from more than 100 countries.
Wow.
And all of the 50 states, including District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. And most of the students travel quite a ways to come to school there. So it's a very diverse, definitely diverse campus. And they're non-sectarian, so they make a big deal that they are not associated with anything religious. But, you know, students still have spiritual needs, and they recognize that. So we're among, I'd say 31 different organizations on campus that do specifically reach out with faith life.
Yeah, yeah. And before I moved to St. Louis, my reputation, or that I thought of Wash U, was a very prestigious place with a lot of really, really smart people.
And they are.
Yeah.
The students that we have are just top notch. And I think the average ACT score was like a 33. It goes higher than that. But yeah, they are. I call them smarty pants. I don't say that to their face, but in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, these kids. And they're very dedicated. They're hardworking. And they really, really want to do well, which on the other side, there's a lot of pressure on them, a lot of stress. And so I think that's where our Lutheran Student Fellowship group is there to just connect them with Christ and give them that peace that passes all understanding, really, and give them a place to talk about the things that they encounter on campus.
Yeah. That is true, though. That when you're going to a school that has that reputation of being a really good school, there is so much pressure on you to do well, and all of that can really have some,
especially at test time.
Yeah,
especially
at test
stress
time.
out, and so we try to have a place where they can just kind of relax and kind of step away from all that for a while. We meet every Monday nights. That's when our group meets on campus. We meet at the DUC, the Danforth University Center. And we meet at 6:00 in a room upstairs, and that room kind of varies. So we do have a web page, a Facebook page where people can go to find out more about our group.
Sure. So what do you do with the students? What's kind of the programming that happens, and all of the ways that that the church is involved with these students?
Well, we are very blessed to have Village helping out with this outreach ministry to WashU students. First of all, and the biggest to me is we provide rides for them because so many of the students don't have cars. freshmen or first year and second year students aren't allowed to have cars because of parking restrictions. So we have volunteers. We have about 5 families from our church that rotate going down to campus every Sunday morning and picking students up, because providing that word and sacrament ministry to them is so important. So they get that at Village. And if they're interested in other congregations, we try to make connections with those congregations for them as well. So that's the biggest way the faith life is nurtured, through our worship services at Village. We also provide pizza for those Monday night, and the students love those. So we have our pizzas as well as our fellowship. Our vicar, Dan Gregg, is going to be leading the students in conversation and discussion, which is really going to be exciting. Yeah, we're talking about the separation of church and state. That's our first big topic. So, yeah.
That'll be great.
It will be. It'll be great. And we've done other studies, like last year we had a couple seminarians just provide Bible studies. We did, Sermon on the Mount. We've done other books of the Bible and other topics and things like that.
Yeah, that's so good for them to have a place to talk about issues like that, though, because when you're at a non-sectarian university, you're going to be getting possibly a very different worldview from a lot of the things that we believe in. Having a place to talk about those things with a Lutheran worldview and being able to kind of hash that out, is so important.
It is very important, and it's kind of sad, but we're told you can't proselytize. Well, okay, we can't do that, but as Lutheran Christians, we can live out our Christian faith through loving our neighbor. So we have all these folks from all around the world and all different kinds of backgrounds, and just sharing that in word and action is also important, and helping students how they can convey that is a big part of a ministry too.
Sure. Yeah.
But we do fun things too. We go places like last night. Last night we had a barbecue. A couple guys from church, they grill so well. So we had a big barbecue, and students came, and we just had a great time chilling and playing games and doing things like that. And we hope to take other excursions throughout the city, and that'll be fun too sometime this year. Yeah,
absolutely. What does that community mean to the students who are involved with the campus ministry? What benefit does it give them throughout their year or years of being at WashU?
I think it gives them a place to be grounded. Number one, Village Lutheran Church is very welcoming. So I think it's important that they have a church home. So it's not like they are, it's home away from home in that sense. And I think that's really important. And then for them on campus, they know that there's a group that they can go and talk and not be, shot down or,
Yeah. What is the impact that you've seen? How long have you been working with the campus ministry?
This is the third year that I've been involved with this. I've seen and just seeing the students grow in their confidence of expressing their faith with people. They have brought people to church with them, which is pretty awesome, you know. And I think just in their discussions and classes and things like that, they've gathered, just the confidence to speak the truth in love.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's an important skill to learn when you're in that very moldable age, when you're in college. Yeah,
definitely.
So before we're out of time, I want to get to the Roots Conference that's happening is that happening at Concordia Seminary?
It is. It's going to be at Concordia Seminary, October 11th and 12th. This is the third year that they've had this, and it's sponsored by the LCMS U chapters in the St. Louis area. So we try to grab college students from, the Illinois, Missouri, even some Iowa, some Nebraska. And so the speaker this year is going to be the Reverend Robert Weiss. He's Professor Emeritus of Practical Theology from Concordia. And the topic to be discussed is the relationship of science to technology. And within that, they're going to be talking about the reconstruction of man in a throwaway culture and specific cultural issues such as responding to, the new Gnosticism, transgender and non-binary gender identity, transhumanism, which is a theory that human race can evolve beyond its current physical and mental limitations, especially by means of science and technology. So heavy-duty topics, but ones that students encounter, believe it or not, on campuses.
Yeah.
So you can register. Anybody interested in this can register at ulue.org. Registration before the 22nd is $15 per person. And after that, it will be $25. And what to bring? You need to bring your clothes, sleeping stuff, Bible, and money for dinner on Saturday. Housing will be on campus for those that need it. And it should be a pretty interesting conference.
Yeah. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, this is the third year that this conference has happened.
Right.
What is the kind of the premise of this conference? Why do they put it on?
Well, they know that the college students encounter all kinds of challenging issues, and so they try to have speakers that can address those issues. I know last year it had to do with men and women, and Professor Bierman led that. And then the very first one was more or less celebrating the Reformation. So we had,
of course,
we had to do that one. So anyway, we deal with topics like that. We also have wonderful worship times. So we do compline and matins, and at the seminary it'll be at the chapel. So that'll be a beautiful setting for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We are pretty much all out of time. So thank you, Deaconess Laura Justice from Village Lutheran Church in Ladue, Missouri, and also the campus ministry serving Washington University here in St. Louis. Thanks so much for joining me on the Coffee Hour.
Thanks, Sarah.
You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.